I mean, it's. I mean, do I just need to loop the Rick and
That's
Bubba
what I would
theme
do.
until?
Unless y'all just want to hang out and continue to do this.
Well, all we're doing is hanging out the office with mics on.
Correct.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
We could just hang out without the mics and just.
Well, we don't know when we'll be back though.
Yeah,
Go
but
ahead.
you want me just to loop
the
this?
bed for a minute.
Okay.
We're back on YouTube, I believe.
Really?
Yes, 2 people are jumping on board.
Okay, all right. Let me hang on.
Oh,
then.
the view
All right.
count's going up.
Okay, so we are back on YouTube. Testing YouTube. Test 1 2.
It says we have concurrent viewers, and that viewer number is going up. Is what it says.
Okay, you probably about
coming back.
So
we and if you are just now tuning in, we had a major power surge here at the studio, the new studio. And it looks like it wiped out about everything here.
So honestly,
but it's coming back online slowly but surely.
Honestly, it looked like to me, I didn't hear any big clap of thunder, any big lightning strike.
It was
no, we saw it in here because all the lights went down.
No, but I'm talking, what caused it?
We don't know.
Yeah,
well, it's
could have been somewhere else.
No, we're covered up.
It's weather related.
Right, but I mean, but I didn't
to
see
your
anything.
point, you didn't a big strike or a big lightning, thunder. We didn't.
Oh yeah, I saw that. But normally when the power goes off, there's
You
like a
feel
big
it.
I didn't feel anything on that.
Sir. No.
So YouTube is up. Is that official, Adler?
We back on YouTube. Yep.
All right, we're back. YouTube,
so
welcome
if YouTube
back.
is up, maybe Comrex will be up shortly.
Yeah. So we're working to get it back on, but okay. That's just Greg telling me that when I fire the commercials that they'll actually go. Nothing is certain.
When I went back to talk to Scruggs to find out what was going on, I heard so many beeps from Universal Power Supplies going on back there. It is a creepy feeling, but that's all that was going on. That's all I could hear.
Because in radio, I know we've been doing this a long time. Storms are part of the deal.
They are.
Yeah.
So you're supposed to be able to stay on the air.
Yeah.
And have
guys, we went through a lot of.
You got two issues. You got here and you got the transmitter sites. You could be out at
Well,
both,
that's true.
or you could.
Yeah.
Now both have generators, but it takes 20, 30 seconds for those to come online, and then everything has to reboot.
Okay.
And if it's internet, it has to reestablish. That's a 2 or 3 minute deal. So, it's all coming back. It's just. The flash got us because, buddy, it went dark in here.
Did it really? Yeah. I was in the bathroom.
Oh, it was quick, but it was
something.
It was deep.
What popped in your office, Adler? Something made a sound in Adler's office.
That was, I
strange.
think, just my monitors.
Okay,
reacting to the fact that what was feeding them just got killed. Yeah,
That was louder than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
So, same system is making its way across the southeast. So, stay tuned to your local Rick and Bubba outlet or your app or James Spann or however you get your weather because it's got a little punch to it apparently. Doesn't look like a lot of wind here where we are, but
yeah. It just kind of looks like a storm coming through here, but storm's not power out.
Yep.
And all right, so we're going to go to the break, and YouTube, welcome back. I don't know if other platforms are working their way back or not, but if we can get word to you on YouTube, I bet those numbers will go way up. We'll be right back. More Rick and Bubba next.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.
There's Tom Petty.
Yeah, buddy.
That was our first hit, by the way.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, so we do have much to cover. So, test again. Check 1, 2.
Check. I don't know. It sounded funny to me. I don't know if it's me or the headphones or
Sounds okay here.
our professional broadcasting processing equipment.
Do you have a moth in your ear? I mean, something going on? I don't know.
I don't know.
Sadly, the reason why I'm able to say that is it actually happened once.
Oh yeah. You never know on this show.
What weird things have happened here?
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the stranger days. I'm literally walking in the studio, and I have a moth that is wide open, hitting me, about knocked me down, and lodged in my ear, and it sounded like a helicopter going off.
Right.
And,
yeah.
I mean, you can't function with that. I mean, foreign object inside your ear, you got to get it out.
I don't like anything inside my ear. Especially a giant moth.
And luckily for us, and the fact that I get here a little bit ahead of showtime, I had time to go to the emergency room, which is right over the hill from the hospital.
Yeah.
I mean, from the studio here, and have it removed and be back before the show started. And that was the day that Greg tried to work on it to begin with, and announced we didn't have the tools to pull this off.
Yeah, went on to be named.
When you lay your head on the desk and you let Greg come at you with long-nosed pliers, that's something.
We were trying, buddy.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Hey, I had to have relief, man. That couldn't go on.
I hate to say this, but I don't think we got the tools here to pull this off.
Man, that was bizarre.
We just didn't have it.
Only on this show.
Yeah, sure.
How about in a small world? The doctor that pulled that out of your ear, I coached his son in basketball this year. He came up to me about halfway through the season. He said, didn't Bubba, ain't he the one that got the moth in his ear? And I thought, He said, I'm the doctor. I'm the one that pulled it out in the emergency room. How about that?
See what a small little globe we live on?
Now, he tried to wash it out to begin with. They wasn't having none of that.
I do.
Hey, Ricky, I can't. It's like somebody popping the side of your head when it's in there moving around. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Well, just think about how your ear is if you get anything discomfort in there. Just any little get water in it or something like that. You just can't stand it.
Oh, I know.
And Helmsley did tell me this yesterday, and I'm going to go ahead because I need to go ahead and come get some closure on this.
I don't know what you're about to say.
No, I just need to have closure. And it's fine. I mean, people have different. We're all made differently. I just need to understand that possibly through an deep southern summer, I'm going to see you wear these pullovers. No matter how hot it is outside, I'm going to see you in these what I would say something you put on when you want to be warm. A pullover, long sleeves, zipped up, and they got logos on them. They look great. I'm just talking about seasonally. Should I count on that for the rest?
Probably so. And here's the thing: I actually got an email about this yesterday from a listener, and she included Speedy on this. I'm thankful she didn't include Greg because no telling what he would have responded with. But this is comfortable for me in this setting.
Right.
It is for me, and it's probably some blood circulation deal. It's going to get me by the time I'm 50. I get that.
Right.
But I stay cold. Okay, and so in here,
not a good sign.
Now the minute I leave here,
right.
I'm in short sleeves and shorts, and those.
So
those
solely, you just think it's too cool in this
in here in this setting.
Okay. In your office or the whole place, or just in here?
Just in here.
Okay. There is a vent right here that comes down on us, so I don't know if that's.
Thank you for the help, but I really think it's just my blood circulation. I think I am that person.
I think I brought that up yesterday. I think I mentioned circulation yesterday because what you're saying is what 75, 76, 80-year-old people say.
Correct.
Yeah. Are your feet always cold?
No.
Hands?
Well, I've got shoes and socks on. So.
Well, I'm just saying, normally that's a sign of poor circulation.
Guys, if you're listening live, it's May the 24th.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right.
No, we're getting 80 close to 90-degree weather.
Yeah. Helms is our Bob
But
Lockamy.
we're inside, and it's chilly.
I got you.
Helms is our Bob Lockamy. It has to wear a sweater all
well,
the time.
oh my gosh, there it is.
Yeah, and you know what, Bubba, I was hoping no one would reference that, but I did.
And
I
mean
think
that
about
as a compliment.
Yesterday.
I mean, I love Bob, but it's he's always
in this
a
case
sweater.
we're making fun of Bob though. Let's not
I'm just
that.
saying y'all are in the same wagon.
Right. Yeah.
Well, yeah. No, regardless of the name, you really don't want to be known as the guy that wears sweaters in the summer.
No.
And here we go, 6 minutes past the hour. Rick and Bubba, thank you for being with us as we start a brand new hour. So anyway, a lot of you are emailing, you're on social media. Those of you that have our cell phones, you're texting. Thanks, friends and family. We've had storms come through Sweet Home, Alabama, and are still coming through. and headed in different directions. So, but we had a big hit here at the No Name Studio and the whole operation here. So we went off every platform there for a little while. We are slowly coming back to all platforms, but remember, this is the beauty of having multiple platforms now. If your current platform isn't working, try another one. So we think YouTube is back up. We think the terrestrial radio network is up except for Birmingham, and there may be others that don't have us up yet because of the way they make sure the show is on, meaning that they need to make some adjustment, but we're actually giving it back to them now. So we think that's done. TuneIn, we don't know what TuneIn's doing these days. TuneIn is they're doing that thing. You remember the old saying, "It's impossible to do your job with both hands around your neck." I don't know what TuneIn's doing. They're making some changes in the last couple of days. They've kind of had the show messed up anyway, but we think that capability is coming back, and certainly. Now, let me ask you this, Helms. As I look at the color all leaving your face, what does this mean to podcast archives today?
Nothing. Well, there may be a segment or two, but
you'll hear us talking about us being off the air on your podcast archive.
It's going to sound just like it did here.
You're right.
Be
Okay.
down for a little
So
while.
we're just capturing what's ever in here, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that'll be good. And so the commercials, like all that's been okay. So we'll just do the best we can.
Yeah, we're getting it back.
I just asked Adler how his whole office was affected. It was, but he thinks all of his stuff's back up too, because we were gonna do a Biden update here because once again, this fantasy world that Biden lives in continues. Where today he claims that he was once a truck driver, but so we'll jump right into that.
But that was something. Does anybody know Basement Joe?
All right, so welcome ZZK. ZZK has now joined us as well. All right, so we're slowly getting it all back. All right, so here's Biden. He's talking to truckers, and he's going to make a statement that, of course, everybody has researched, and it just simply isn't true. I can't wait to get to 1B, too, because he starts talking on the CB. All right, so
he did not.
Yeah, he did. So let's and then I like this last line in here, too, on B, but we'll get to that in a minute. All right, so here comes a video 1A, Adler. Here's Biden telling truckers that he at one time drove a truck. Here we go.
I used to drive a truck. It's a long story. Anyway, it's getting hard. And I thought I was going to get to drive one of these suckers today. But anyway, it's another story.
So is this
now when did he do this, Rick? Because he's been on the public trough for 45 years.
Yeah.
I mean, what was he doing it when he was 10?
So we know that Biden, to your point, has not held a working job for how many years?
Well, 45.
47.
Did 47?
Did senators drive trucks to work at one time?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Were they multitasking?
Yeah. So now, Bubba, here comes one of these stories. This is going to become
Joey baby.
This is going to become a Joey baby story because he does that anytime he talks to Amtrak or talks about whatever, or trains or whatever. Now this must be his new story he's going to tell to truckers about there was a guy who ran steel. All right, here we go.
When I was a young senator, there was a guy who ran steel from Deemer Steel out to Ohio. And so I decided to ride out with him, see what it was like on the strike. And I was driving, going through Shiloh, Ohio. And his handle was Big Ten. And remember, everybody, all the truck stops were being blockaded at the time during the strike. And he called. He said, Big Ten wanting to come in. I forget exactly how he said it. And the only woman truck driver I ever knew I met that day, she said, "This is Big Mama, no room." Swear to God, true story. Swear to God.
Completely made it up.
What? It didn't even make sense. What's he talking about? He's driving a truck?
He said he was going to ride with a guy, and then all of a sudden he's driving.
So
now,
we're just going to let him.
I'm sure trained truck drivers will let somebody ride with him and say, "Hey, you want to sit in for a shift?"
You ever driven an 18-wheeler? Heck, take over.
Come on. And
Big Mama said, "Come on."
I'm not sure that
he just wants to say.
How about
Big
this?
Mama.
Two things. Either he's made this story up, or he shouldn't be telling it. I think some of this he's throwing out. I mean, I hate to think, even open my mind to where the handle Big Ten may have come from. But
and I know the president's not, but he sounds like he's coming out of happy hour.
Yeah, you're right.
You know,
yeah, Big Mama and Big Ten may have been having a conversation that he's not supposed to be sharing with us.
Yeah.
But anyway, the
good gracious.
But so they went back and they have confirmed that at one time he rode in a truck in 1973, which may be what he's referencing in the second video.
He rode in a truck.
But he's never driven a truck.
That's a true story.
No, he's a trucker, Courtney.
He was never. He was never. He was never. I swear.
Swear to God, it's true. I swear.
It's a true story. He said, "Big Mama."
Y'all,
Joey,
this is the leader of the free world. It's the leader of the free world. So what was this? Was this some rollout on something? What was this?
I don't know what
he's going to drive on
occasion
these
was.
suckers.
Yeah, this is not where we're going to. Is this we're going to have electric trucks and going to haul everything now? It's not that, is it?
Well, he used to be a truck driver.
Well, they're working on that technology, but not there yet.
You realize what you need to get an 18-wheeler electric?
You know,
and the load it's got to
we
carry?
just make that jump to hydrogen or natural gas. It's a nice in between. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah,
Don't listen to me.
Yeah, right.
Hey, he was speaking he was talking to, of course, the truckers, speaking in front of 3 18-wheelers parked on the south lawn of the White House.
Okay.
But what was the event? Do we know?
Let's see.
Was he just trying to apologize to the
Yeah,
truckers?
y'all can help me. We have the story here. Hold on, I'm trying to fly through it.
The bottom
He spoke
line.
to South Lawn. He just says he's speaking to truckers.
Okay. Well, you used to drive a truck, which is 100% false.
He wanted to thank the nation's truckers for keeping the economy going.
Okay. All right.
He had that Big Ten running.
If y'all all quit, everything comes to a halt, he said to truckers.
Well, yeah, that's what we were telling him. There was a guy who ran steel, and his handle was Big Ten. Mm-hmm. He called and said, "Big Ten want to come in."
What?
And I forgot.
Somebody pull into the into the truck stop.
He was speaking to maybe in the
Big
convoy.
Big Mama had it blocked and said, "No, you can't
No
come
room."
in."
Big Mama said.
And then he says the only woman truck driver I ever knew I met that day, which is not true because now he's telling us they're just talking on the radio. Mm-hmm. So would you meet somebody that you heard the trucker you're riding with talking on the radio?
Well,
I mean, what's the odds of that?
It may. The terminology there is a little gray.
Maybe he meant I heard of a first female truck driver.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to help.
Because if there was no room, he didn't pull over and meet her.
No.
Mm-hmm. But maybe he meant because of the contact over the CB.
No room. What he could have said if he could communicate, of course he can't now. If he could have said, yeah, and when I heard that conversation, I'd really never heard that there were women truckers, but I heard him talking to a female trucker. Mm-hmm. But that's what he means. I'm just going to help him. I'm just because I don't want to be overly critical.
What did Hunter refer to him as in his laptop? Was it
the big guy?
Big guy. Do you think that would be his handle? Big guy.
Yes.
Big guy. Big
it
guy.
would now.
Big guy. Big Mama. And who else?
He could be confused guy.
Yeah.
Big Ten.
Yeah, he was speaking to truckers, union representatives, and labor leaders.
Yeah. So this is the Democrat out there once again.
That's when he used to
after totally abusing union people, they go back and tell them vote for us again. That's what this
Isn't that
is.
good?
Yeah. And you know what?
It's a true story.
As long as you line up and give them your unconditional support, they'll just keep treating you poorly, then coming back and say, hey,
May I have another?
Remember, you're supposed to vote for us. Your phone calls next. Let's see if we can even stir that. 866 We Be Big. We'll chat with you and find out what's on your mind right after this.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.
And Jim Trussell.
Because people say that's abnormal.
Or Tressel.
Right.
Yeah, him too.
So I just got to get mentally locked in that I could be sitting here, deep
Jim Trussell
July.
He worked for the railroad.
Well, and it is thin, okay, and that's one reason I like it, and the reason I went with it because I knew I could wear them year round. Now there will be times where I will do some different things, but look,
they look good. I love their logo. That helps. But I will go with this. See, I didn't know where you were.
It's a valid question,
but you've explained it because there are these people, and these are the ones, and I know all of us been that, and they usually do something in athletics. There's these guys that coach, and they for some reason they like to wear hot things outside in the heat.
Yeah,
and they walk around with them on these, like they want to sweat or something. Yeah. I've never understood those guys. I don't know what the point is. What are they doing? Is that some sort of hey, look at me? I can withstand the heat. I'm trying to sweat a lot. Is that what it is?
I don't. I mean, in my
you've seen those guys.
Yeah,
right?
I have, and I don't know what their situation is, but in my look, and I'm not proud of it. I wish I could be in short sleeves, but I'm all about being comfortable.
Right.
And for me, it's it's a thin.
I got it.
Long sleeve.
I just
deal.
mentally have to get there.
Yeah.
And so I'm fine with it. I'm not even going to talk about it a lot. I'm just.
This is the Rick and Bubba Show. Watch more at blazetv.com/Rick and Bubba.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba. Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.
This is the Rick and Bubba Show. Watch more at blazetv.com/Rick and Bubba.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba. Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.
This is the Rick and Bubba Show. Watch more at blazetv.com/Rick and Bubba.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.
Who?
Hey, first time I heard that as a kid, I thought, so a band named The Who is doing a song
I know it
called
was
Who
a
Are
little
You?
confusing, wasn't
There
it?
was a lot of Who there.
A lot of confusion.
What is this, Whoville?
Yep.
All right, so much to discuss. We were kind of talking about some of that. I know the kickoff hour's been covering a few things, too, that we can lock into. This was, I saw that a minute ago, and unfortunately there's been another a terrorist attack targeting Christians in Egypt, and it looks like a bus carrying Coptic Christians has been attacked in Egypt, and they're reporting 23 people at least have been killed in this attack in Cairo. So that's breaking now. That's been an ongoing issue there. As a matter of fact, friends of ours that have been on the mission field have been there to visit the church in Egypt. They have to meet underground and all that because they're targeted. Which again, the church there is flourishing through the persecution. But you talk about a commitment to your faith. You're targeted, and it costs you your life if you are attacked and will not renounce. So anyway, more Christians there in Egypt being killed today.
Rick, also, we will catch everybody up to date. You remember Greg Giafonte, I think is how they're saying his name now, the guy who was running for the open seat in Congress from Montana, who it was alleged body slammed a reporter. And
you broke my glasses. You body slammed me and broke my glasses.
I heard more about what he did yesterday, and quite frankly, I think that he probably needed body slam. But he apologized for it in his victory speech last night.
Won overwhelmingly, the empty seat.
Have you
It's 20 minutes past the hour. The Rick and Bubba Show, the first phone troll of the day, ready to go. And you can, of course, join us at 866-WE-BE-BIG. Comments, questions, bringing information to the table. This is your opportunity. The real Greg Burgess has positioned himself ready to go there in the phone screening room. So you can dial us up now. 866-WE-BE-BIG is our number. Things that you need to be aware of if you're rolling into town this week for the Kevin Derryberry Celebrity Golf Tournament. We're scheduled to be there for the lunch, a little grip and grin, say hello, and hope you'll enjoy that as you come in and support all the great ministries there involving the Kevin Derryberry Ministries. Also, if you are going to be in Dallas, Texas, next Monday, Tuesday for the Student Leadership University's Youth Pastor Summit, Sherry will be there speaking with all the other speakers in Dallas, Texas. Sherry speaks on Tuesday. Find those details about the summit if you still want to be part of it at rickandbubba.com, at burgessministries.com under upcoming events. Also, a lot of Man Church activity going on. Team Man Church heads to Vegas this weekend to be part of the Altar Conference, the one that Derek Carr talked about on the program now that he's working in Las Vegas. He's doing a men's conference there, the Altar Conference, and you can join the guys from themanchurch.com. They'll be set up with our resources there in the lobbies, and also ask them about a new app that we are going to be announcing very soon that I think you're going to love. So that's some things that are going on this week. Find out what's ahead by going to rickandbubba.com under upcoming events or the themanchurch.com under upcoming events. To the phones we go. Madeline will get us started. Madeline is calling us out of Sweet Home, Alabama. Trolling.
Them phones are trolling.
Here we come, phone trolling, phone troll. Let's go to Madeline. Madeline, hello, 30 seconds, come on.
Hey, good morning. I know y'all were talking about Nashville, Georgia, and if y'all are ever interested in quail or pheasant hunting, my husband and his buddies like to go to a place called Shadow Oak Plantation, and you get home-cooked Southern meals, and there's a lot of packages and stuff that you do, and he really enjoys it.
Well, let me tell you something. We did a show when we were on Turner South over somewhere in Georgia.
Yeah.
Which was odd, Emmanuel Lewis, but
I think it was down closer to Columbus.
Yeah, what I just said is true, isn't it? Emmanuel Lewis was with us, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. Correct.
Quail hunting.
Yes.
Yep. Webster was quail hunting with us.
Yes,
that did happen,
that
right?
is correct.
I didn't dream that.
No.
Okay.
No.
Webster?
Yeah.
Quail hunted with y'all?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
I did not.
Yeah. I think you can find videos
Was it not
of it
in
out
the
there.
Tifton area that we went to?
I don't know where we were.
This
but
is
we
it.
were.
This, Nashville is, I'm pretty sure, down south Georgia, and that whole Moultrie, Tifton,
Albany.
Yeah, Blake Shelton set up a
Valdosta, that area.
Blake Shelton set up a music hall there. Oh, I'm sorry, that's Nashville, Tennessee. All right, so anyway, but to the point that the caller Madeline's making, I have been to some of these quail hunting places, and when you come in there, and Bubba, you and I have been together, and they come out there and serve you that fried quail. With mashed potatoes and gravy and biscuits and good night.
I had Webster.
Do you remember who else we were there with?
Webby got in pretty hard.
Do you remember who else during that show? John Shearholtz.
Really?
Yeah.
And GM with a
And then
braid.
there was that guy that used to play quarterback at Tennessee that ran for some sort
Heath Schuler.
Yeah. Is he still in politics?
No, I don't think so.
You threw that out there like you knew. You were very confident.
I don't think so. I haven't seen anything with him on it.
We stayed in touch with him a little bit after.
Yeah.
You remember he played quarterback and he was like number 21?
I do remember
Tennessee.
that. I sure do. Yeah.
Something like that.
David in Prattville, I-92, WLWI. David, go ahead. 30 seconds.
Well, good morning. I was going to get right to the point. Y'all must have said something to spook Albert Pujols because I read yesterday he's filing for divorce after 22 years. He said, hey, so long marriage, I got to keep this rusted career going. So, yeah, y'all spooked him whenever he found he was going to get in trouble with his wife for not being there for the surgery.
Well, do you think him not being there for her brain surgery might have had something to do with that?
That's what I was thinking.
I mean, hey, you got to think about the trouble he's going to be in. I mean, if you ain't going to be there for your wife during surgery, that is.
Well, you also have to think about the chicken and the egg. Is the fact that he did not go and be there for his wife's brain surgery, meaning the marriage was already over.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go to a spring training game when your wife's having brain surgery, there's something wrong in that marriage.
Yeah. Sounds like they may not be real close at that point.
866-WE-BE-BIG. Lines are available. If you want to join us right now and make the move, you'll get in. Josh in Alabama. Josh, go ahead. 30 seconds.
What's going on, fellas?
Hey, buddy.
I got one thing to say. I think y'all need to do a reenactment of Will Smith and Chris Rock. Let Helms be Chris Rock, Greg be Will Smith, and every time Helms gets mad because y'all doubt something, Greg gets to slap him.
So, would it be the fake?
I'm down with that.
Is it be the fake or a real one?
No, I'll be a real one because he always whining about y'all wanting to doubt something.
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool.
Okay.
It really just comes down to I think they want you slapped.
Yeah, that's it. Just say that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you can just say that.
Right.
Have the courage to just say that. How about that?
He may have been charter member of the Helms Haters.
Yeah, they're out there.
Oh, look, we all got them.
There's Facebook groups. That's fine. You know how much I think about it.
Show me again.
I got so much to worry about. That ain't one of them.
Oh gosh,
Goodness
let me
gracious.
tell you something. I've tried for, gosh, I guess it's been a long time. There's been a few times you start thinking, is there a place to land where every single person will like this particular thing that I do on the show?
No,
it just doesn't.
It ain't gonna work.
No, it's
that's a miserable life to try to live.
Right.
I promise you.
It goes back to what my dad said. There's people that think the show will be better off without every single one of us.
Mm-hmm.
They pick an individual. I don't like
Sure.
this guy. I don't like that guy. And I wish the show just didn't have them on it. And then there's the people that think that you're the best thing on the show, and both of them are wrong.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, you're somewhere in between.
Don't listen to either one of them.
Yeah, you're somewhere in between. Jake, welcome to Rick and Bubba. Go ahead.
Hey, let me give you this scenario. What if it was The Rock instead of Chris Rock? You think Will Smith still would have slapped him?
Jake, I'm not.
Is that replaced the Putin joke with Biden?
Good, Jake. Randy in Huntsville. Randy, 30 seconds. Go ahead.
Biggins, how are y'all?
We're good, man.
Y'all were talking about Biden earlier, that Durant commercial. If y'all could play that commercial for Durant for Congress where he's talking about Biden speaking clearly.
Yeah, and he's got him where he's just mumbling. Got some word salad clips in it.
You like that word salad, don't you?
It is.
Yeah, word salad is.
You know what? It hits home.
Yeah, look, I've produced a few myself.
Yeah, yes. I've been a salad maker for many years.
Frank, of course, I'm not leading the free world. Right. Frank, go ahead, 30 seconds.
Yeah, I'll go home and watch reruns today. So.
Yeah, I was just talking about the rapper that was involved. I was about to leave one of Joe Dizzy's stuff up there by the jukebox, and Davey Allison doing a Will Smith on him.
I wish I could have heard that.
Wow.
But did y'all understand any of that?
No. I'm going to try this. Here's what I think. I think it was because we're going to do that rapper story next.
Okay.
He's saying that, and we're going to show it to you. You're not going to believe this. There's a rapper that died, and they embalmed his body and set him up on the dance floor, and everybody's partying around him.
Right.
Isn't that illegal to do?
I would think so.
Isn't that abuse of a corpse or something?
I think this caller just said that he would like to take Joe Biden and prop him up next to a jukebox because he thinks it's like Weekend at Bernie's, this presidency.
Okay.
And then for
very good.
And
Rick.
for some reason, he's got Davey Allison. I guess we're supposed to get his corpse too and have it slap Biden. Now that can't be what he said, but that's
what you got.
There was something about Davey Allison in there.
All right.
Am I right? Greg said
that is good. If
Greg
that's what
said
you
you're
got.
basically right.
His cell service was so bad I couldn't follow.
I know. It's well, how does Davey Allison get in it? Why does he get to slap Biden? Is it? Where's the 28 card? All right, we'll be back. We will talk about this story involving this. Is it a rapper? More Rick and Bubba next.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.
The reporter that he slammed.
No, I
looks
can.
a lot like Eddie Van Adler, I'm not just picking on him. Pull his picture up if you can find it.
It's there. It's right there. You got it.
Far
look,
left
look,
there?
right there.
There's one with he's got glasses on.
Well, because he got his glasses
that's
broke.
a completely different one.
He got his glasses broke.
He doesn't have it there.
That's like one he's done a glamour shot with. I'm talking about it was like it may have been taken after he got slammed, but he's got his glasses on and they favor.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. We told you that the type of human being that takes on Big Sky Country probably won't have an issue with someone attacking, kind of a far left liberal journalist from The Guardian, and he wins overwhelmingly.
Yeah,
May
run
help.
away.
He actually picked up more votes.
I think he did. Well,
I think he's headed for leadership in Congress.
Well, that's the thing that we've been trying to talk about here on the show. Is there is they used to be called the silent majority.
Right.
There are Americans that are just tired of all this. And when they see somebody finally in politics, Trump, it's the whole Trump thing.
Right.
Whether you like or don't like, and certainly won't agree on everything, but the Trump phenomenon, it affects all of politics right now, even state level and everything. there's just a group of Americans that they think that, look, we all want to be civilized and all that, but the left has gone so far and it's become so ridiculous. And
we're not going to be a doormat anymore.
There you go. That you just, and this other thing, too, of civility being lost. And see, the thing is about, well, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. That's right, as long as everyone's being civil.
Yeah.
But there comes a time when people who are treating you in a way that is not civil, they may get an uncivil response.
Right.
I mean, they're creating this atmosphere that is just toxic. And, we've got this thing going on today where, we got intel that's being leaked everywhere you turn. We've got, the obsession we have with that we must throw every obstacle in front of this president because we didn't like him, speaking of the left and even the media. One of the things that I don't think got talked about enough was the glaring, because to me, when there's things that are theories, people can disagree, but when you're just looking at something nobody can argue, the country didn't respond enough to how long it took most of the media to start covering the terrorist attack in Manchester. When they put the clock up there and you see Fox break everything, go to it immediately, and all they're doing on the other channels is trying to tie the Russians to Trump and having panel after panel after panel. You realize it went 36, almost 40 minutes before they ever even mentioned it.
Yeah.
Because they're so
and
obsessed
that's
with
a
it.
conscious decision that somebody's making, because all of these networks, the guy in charge is sitting in a room looking at all the networks.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got their feed up, he's got everybody else's, so they know what other people are covering. And it is strange how they just stayed with, run Flynn down, Flynn this, Flynn that,
And now we've got the intel leaked, and now we've got Great Britain upset with America and these intel leaks and journalists throwing these stories out that hey, we're in the middle of trying to catch these terrorists, and there's been information that's kind of important to our investigation that we really don't want out. Now y'all put it out.
Yeah, the crime scene photos made their way to the New York Times, and they were supposed to be classified.
And then we've got a former president. We've got Obama, which we'll get into now, that is showing zero class. Look, guys, regardless of your politics, in the past, when a president is done with his, term, you go away, you go build a library, and you get in a place and go, I'm not the president anymore.
Right.
And I just keep my mouth shut. And
no, Republican presidents usually do
I'm
that.
trying to be. Yeah. I'm trying to.
Well, I mean, just it is what it is. So we can't hide that fact.
Right.
Clinton wouldn't go away. Carter wouldn't go away.
Well, you're right. I mean, there's no arguing that.
Daddy Bush pretty much went away, except when he was drug out for a group effort on something. W's gone away. You don't see anything out of him.
Yeah, he's now. You don't want to become the football coach that coached the team and now sits in the stands and dogs the current coach.
Right.
And at the end of the day, I mean, he's out there dogging people like our former president's going to end up on some CNN panel.
And not only that, but he did it on foreign soil too.
Who's he think he is? The Dixie Chicks?
Yeah. He got treated like a rock star in Berlin.
But then he says things that we keep taking on the hypocrisy of the left, telling Trump that people can't live behind walls.
Yeah.
But yet his house has a security wall around it because, rightfully so, he needs to have a wall because
there's people to keep out.
He needs to vet people who may want to do him harm, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I would say so.
Well, then shut up and just go see the tourist spots. We'll be back. More Rick and Bubba next.
Rick and Bubba.
I'm sorry, again?
Ilya.
Ilya. Okay, Ilya.
2 L's.
Man, that is impressive. You got it on the first try. I'm impressed.
All right, well, you got 30 seconds.
Impressed.
Go ahead.
Hey, I just wanted to say to you guys that I listened to your show to kind of open up my mind.
Let's go. 35 minutes past the hour of the Rick and Bubba Show, 866 We Be Big. And we are going to get into more stories of today. We'll chat with you as well at the number that I just gave you. Men all over the country get on the calendar. Father's Day weekend, Friday, June 17th, Saturday, June the 18th, Huntsville, Alabama. They've been great hosts the last couple of years for the Gridiron Men's Conference. And, boy, nobody does it better. It is a great, great conference. A good lineup again this year, too. You've got Kirk Cameron coming in to speak. Tim Tebow, we had him on the show last week talking about that. Fred Luter, who is fantastic. Charles Billingsley will be there, also leading worship, and there's others that are coming too that have been great. So if you'd like to find out and get your plan together, get your group tickets, get your hotels, get all that done, go to gridironmen.com. That's gridironmen.com. There's also a link at rickandbubba.com under the sponsors button. You get your men together and go and have a great weekend, and you'll be back in plenty of time for Father's Day. Be a great way to get ready to have a really, really good Father's Day. All right, so, Bubba, also this story. Now, we're trying to unpack this. I know this is a shocker. This is where you and I feel like we're not hip to the groove again. I'm not familiar at all with Maryland rapper Gnu. Are you?
No, out of the loop, Rick.
Yeah, I don't know this rapper. 24, sadly, was shot in a parking lot in Maryland on the 18th of March. Did not make it, even though he got to the hospital. They could not keep him alive. So they believe he was the victim of an armed robbery. Prince George's County Police Department, which is where it happened, offered a $25,000, for anyone who can let them know who this was that shot him. And it says that when they decided to celebrate him, this is where it gets a little bit odd. The family and friends held a celebration event at one of the nightclubs in Washington, D.C., the Bliss nightclub, and it was billed as the rapper's final show. Unfortunately, it appears that Gnu's embalmed corpse was propped upright and on full display during the event, adorned with a crown and designer clothing. Pot it down so it get a little ugly.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the music. I don't know if that gets you in trouble, Ad.
Music, I'll take it down.
There it is.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, no.
I mean, this is Weekend at Bernie's to hold
it.
It
really is. No, this is not.
Can you just do that? Can you take a body out and have an event with it?
So we have his body standing upright up there, it looks like?
Yeah, Rick, it's last show, Rick.
Yeah.
I don't know if you read on into the story. If you just mentioned it, I apologize. The nightclub owner says he had no idea that he'd have a corpse in there.
Yeah.
And is not happy.
There was a rapper named Black Fortune who attended the event. Greg, surely you're familiar with him.
Yes.
And said it was his actual body. This was not a wax figure. Someone, I think, was hoping maybe that was possible. It says and this is what Speedy was talking about, the Bliss nightclub released a statement that they were never made aware that this was his actual corpse and that it was on display during the event. Wow. Says we were contacted by a local funeral home to rent our venue for Gnu's homecoming celebration. We didn't know the body would be here and upright by the DJ booth. I added that detail. But
because that's where it is.
Yeah, we sincerely apologize to all those who may be upset or offended. But I'm over with Bubba here.
I thought it.
Can you do this?
I didn't think you could do that. I would think that whoever released that body out will be in trouble. Whoever got it, I mean, there'll be all kind of things.
I don't know if you
and
can
then everybody will claim it was a wax figure.
Right. Once they realize
suddenly-
how much trouble they're in. Y'all.
Suddenly, Black Fortune will change his opinion.
What are the rules, Bubba, on
anybody?
Like that?
We have a lot of funeral directors that listen to our show.
I think it's pretty limited on what can happen there.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, some of the burials take a little longer than you want them to.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can take the body out on parade.
Well, this is the beauty of us mainly, and our culture when we were growing up was, for most everybody here, I know Speedy, theirs was a little bit different, but a lot of us were raised Southern Baptist, and I'm gonna tell you what, we don't let that body hang around. Let me tell you, when the Southern Baptists go to put you in the ground, you got 48 hours, and it doesn't matter where you're working, where you live. If you can't make a Tuesday at 11 a.m., if somebody went in on Sunday,
tough.
You just missed it. And I noticed too, it's always at late morning on whatever 48 hours from when it happened.
Yeah,
you might be
right.
fortunate enough to have your loved one die on Thursday, so you get a Saturday funeral, but it's rare.
Yeah, it's usually
Baptists
pretty
just
quick.
don't die on Thursday much. I mean, it seems like every funeral I go to is on a weekday in the morning. You know, like
Yeah,
mid-morning.
I mean, there's been a lot of 11 o'clockers.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's too to let people be able to
But
get
we
back.
don't.
They've traveled.
Yeah, I know out and I know some of the
2 or 3 days tops.
Yeah, I know some of the primitive Baptists will sit with the body, but when I was raised up, somebody went in, you knew about it, it was sad, and in 48 hours, that's going in the ground.
My grandmother on my dad's side, they brought her back to the house, and somebody had to sit up all night. And I remember thinking, what in the world are we doing?
Right.
Yeah.
But that was the last
tradition.
time. Hopefully that tradition will die out, no pun intended, with me.
Right.
And none of mine will ever have to do that.
Brian is suggesting that somehow this is on me in Meridian, Mississippi. Brian, talk to me. Reason this out.
Rick, I'm sorry, bud, but I got to put this on you. Apparently, you got some listeners up there. Not too long ago, in my memory, but in Rick and Bubba time, it probably may have been you had to call out to funeral homes to hip it up a little bit. You're tired of going to creepy old funeral homes.
That's true.
They need to get with the program. So,
Yeah.
bud, I hate to do it, but I'm putting it on you.
Yeah, it went too far. This is not what I meant.
But on you, Rick.
Yeah, this is.
I mean, Rick, this is weekend at Bernie's
Yeah,
stuff.
this is not what I meant.
Huh?
I don't think you can do that.
No, I don't either. I feel like you violated a lot of laws.
All right, we do know that a body will be on display at another location for the service.
Yeah.
But the funeral home brings it in the casket.
Yeah.
Can you just take your loved
Well,
one's
now, the
embalmed
funeral home
body?
is the ones that contacted this place about renting the
Oh,
space.
okay.
They said it was the funeral home that reached out to them.
All right, so now really the question is, can a funeral home just prop somebody up by the DJ?
Well, we have
Maybe
some
they have
we
the
have some
clearance to do
funeral
that.
directors that listen to this show that run and do that kind of work. They need to call in and clarify what the laws are, and they probably vary, honestly, state to state.
They do. All right, so let's say this, because here's what it would be like, because I'm going to put it in our world, okay? I've gone on in, and y'all said to the funeral home, we want Rick to be in his camo, propped up back there by my favorite part of my favorite outdoor store, in my camo, and like I'm standing in the corner about to upgrade my scope. And y'all all want to come say goodbye to me that way. Would they do that? I mean,
you'd have to probably get a lot of clearance, but
I don't know the law, but I have just an inherent internal feeling that that's not a good thing.
hey, we want.
I feel like I need to run.
We
at
want.
this
We
moment.
want Bubba sitting behind his microphone at the studio,
Yeah, you don't want
and
that.
everybody comes in. Can you do that? Mm-hmm.
You got to call on one, Rick, Mike.
I believe you got to get some kind of special permission.
And we refer to it, and we do things like, Bubba, give a one last big Bubba hello.
Yeah. Hello.
And I get over behind you, hello. Of course, I couldn't do that. All right, Anonymous says they know. Go ahead.
Yes, so I talked to my, love the show, first time caller,
Thank you.
long time listener.
Thank you.
I talked to my stepfather, and he was a funeral director and retired, and he said that regardless of jurisdiction, and it would probably be up to the rapper's family, up to the family if they want to, if it's wrong or not.
So the family can the family can have the body displayed any way they want to, anywhere they get permission.
More or less. Now, it's just, if they want to take it further, it's up to them.
So if
But
we wanted,
I'm sure the nightclub can have something to say and try.
Yeah, well, the nightclub
It'll
said
be
they
up
were
to
duped. The nightclub said when they asked us about the service, we didn't know they were going to prop the body up in here.
so God forbid anything happens to one of us, and we'll just use me as an example
Yeah.
since we were talking about Helmsley haters and
Right.
those type of things. Let's say I go on in,
Right.
and y'all say, you know what we ought to do? And is this what he's saying? We ought to just bring in Helms right here for one final show, right here, or right here,
Yeah.
where I'm sitting
Yeah,
now.
that's what he's saying.
And that'll be okay.
To be their final.
As long as my family says it's okay.
And as long as this building says it's okay.
Yeah. And I think my family would be okay with it. I think the building people would be okay with it.
I don't think Scruggs would let us. This would be his time to finally tell us no on something.
I don't think we'd be okay with it.
You might
Probably
could
not
get
a good idea.
Hey, you might could get a new board out of it.
I could. By the way, the dump buttons are back on after the power outage.
Well, maybe we'll have another.
We'll be right back. More Rick and Bubba coming up.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.
I am a Democrat, but
well, we all have things we're not proud of.
Yeah, you say a lot of things that open my mind.
Yes,
but
thank you.
I also have to ask this question. I know that Trump is a upfront, blunt person.
Yep.
You know, say what you want to say, and hold people accountable for it. My only thing is, shouldn't he be held by that same standard?
Like in what? I'll give you a time.
A lot of the, I mean, it's like, I know that Trump is probably a very smart man, but he shoots himself in the foot a lot.
Like in you're talking kind of in platitudes. So can you give me a specific, and then maybe we could answer the question.
Oh, well, it was not okay, I see what you're saying. It's just more like some of the things that he does that gets himself in trouble.
For example,
causes problems or gets things off a topic of what needs to be talked about.
Maybe we're not communicating here, but okay, I got your pretense, but can you give me a specific situation in which you're talking about, and maybe we could address it? Because it's hard to address, hey, he gets himself in trouble. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, then. Well, a lot of times, we'll just say the simple things like when he does the tweeting thing, which I get, that's his thing. I get that, some people get it, some people don't. But don't you think he's kind of like created this problem for himself that a lot of his agenda kind of gets, thrown to the back and everything, the problems and everything, and that stuff gets
I'll say, let me know, because I think I know what you're saying. The answer is yes. Okay. I mean, and we've done that on the show. We were the ones that said and agreed that the problem with Trump sometimes is there's a fight in the ring, and on the way to the ring, he starts arguing with people in the crowd. We've said that.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah. What we've said is the very things that the country likes, or the people who do, that we like about the bluntness of Trump, at times will be the very same thing that we'll have to hold him accountable for, that we will disagree. I have not agreed with everything Trump has done. I haven't agreed with everything that he said. And like we said, when you have someone like this, I think the country said we need this kind of guy right now for the things that have been said right now that are right. But, there's no doubt there will be times when he will, go off the cuff as you're talking. You'll go, oh, wow, boy, somebody needs to reel him in. He's not a statesman. He's a businessman who was given a job in a time when our country is in a really weird place, and the majority of the states felt like that we need this kind of guy right now based on who's available to us. But to your point, yes, we will hold him accountable when he does things because of his personality that we don't agree with, and frankly, we have. So yeah.
Let me ask. Oh, he's gone. I just wondered how old he was. I will say this too. I think that he sometimes he tweets before he thinks, but it is revolutionary the way he's using Twitter to get around what he feels like is an unfair media. No one has ever done this before. I bet you we will see it in the future.
Yeah,
by whoever's in.
But to answer your original question, yes. When he does something and that we don't like or don't agree with, either as individuals here or as a team, we have and will agree and disagree based on what our principles are.
Yeah, he's not as conservative as I'd like for him to be, but I certainly like what he's doing so far.
Yeah, I don't like his health care plan, but it's getting better. So we'll see.
Did we cover where one of the co-founders of Twitter apologized for inventing Twitter because they felt like he felt like that he had to
help him get elected,
which is ridiculous. But I mean, I'm just saying that's just like in Jimmy Fallon, they're mad at him because when he was on the show, he cut up with him. Remember, because he wasn't mean to him, so they're mad at him for that.
Well, they just have to get.
It's
over
unbelievable.
Yeah.
But this guy felt he should apologize. So basically, I'm apologizing because he got to use Twitter to bypass the media to tell you what he really said and what he did. It's better if I hadn't invented something that would let him do that, so the media could dictate how you think.
If he really feels that way,
yeah.
give all the money he got back from going with an IPO, and then we can talk to him.
Well, it goes back.
It worked out pretty good for him.
Yeah, it did. And that line of thinking, that's kind of, I guess it makes a good soundbite if you're doing a speech and trying to rebel rouse the crowd, a stump speech that they would call it on a campaign. But you can look back at a lot of things. I mean, you could say gosh, I wish I hadn't invented the car, and then we wouldn't have people in car wrecks, But that doesn't work that way.
Well, I'll go deeper in what both of you are saying. Both of you are saying he doesn't mean that.
No,
that's
he
easy.
doesn't mean
That's easy to say after you've pocketed all the money from it.
My point is
now say that at the beginning, and then before you ever made a dime off of it. Say,
It's
I don't
satire, to say the least.
Well, what he's saying, but think about what he's saying. It's just like, and back to what we were talking with our caller, because we all need to look at everything, regardless of our political views. This Trump era is revealing the truth about a lot of people, include on both sides. It's 9 minutes to the top of the hour. The Rick and Bubba Show. Thank you for being with us. 866-WE-BE-BIG is our number. We thank you for being with us today. Did have some technical difficulties earlier. We kind of smoothed through those. So great job on everybody getting us back up and rolling as storms move through a large portion of the Rick and Bubba audience today. So, Bubba, you said you've been paying attention to some of the happenings on Twitter. We did the Elon Musk story earlier, and you said you see something else.
Well, this is breaking news now. Twitter has now appointed shareholder Elon Musk to its board of directors.
Oh, baby.
That's happening this morning.
That was part of the agreement?
Things are happening quick. Well, if you're the top shareholder, you pretty much get to do what you want to.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So
you can make them like it.
Do you think that this was just...
He only spent $3 billion on the purchase. Can you imagine?
Oh, my goodness. I mean, you're just having that...
that is $1 million 3,000 times.
There's a sound that just... I just heard something from Twitter. Uh-oh!
Mm-hmm.
So he's saying we're gonna make some changes in here.
Yep.
So
Mr. Musk.
There you go. So
Board seat.
We'll see what happens.
Mr. Musk.
Will it goes back to that thing that we always talk about on the show. Will we influence the culture, or will the culture influence us? So do you think he'll go in there and make changes, or will they turn him into just another one of them?
Oh, yeah, he wants to be involved.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Rick, I will say this.
He's already acting like he's making big changes.
Everywhere he gets involved, changes happen.
Aren't their shares up 24%?
I can't say that it's all really
Rick,
negative.
He wouldn't have demanded that board seat if he didn't want to.
No, you're right.
And I think he's there to change some things, but he's also in it for the jack. All right, no pun intended, but the money.
Well, you know what?
So,
I don't think
in the share up 24%? Twitter,
but I don't think he cares about
he
the
didn't
money.
need Twitter's money at all.
You know what he wants to do? He wants to finance a trip to Mars.
And I guarantee there's other board members. Watch
the interviews with it. He says, "I do all this, so I go to Mars."
Guarantee
which is
he's
about
already
money.
got other board members in his back pocket, or he wouldn't have taken this position.
That's right.
Yeah,
he's got the votes, or he wouldn't go in there to be aggravated.
All over that.
Yep.
So
Twitter may get this censorship thing worked out here pretty soon.
Yeah.
I don't mean to cause a panic
and the sponsor on new SpaceX rocket.
Right, exactly. It's going to have Twitter right down the side of it.
That's what you call synergy.
Bubba, I mentioned it to you, but now the story is right here in front of us. Britney Spears has shared her plans that she will write a book.
Mm-hmm.
Now I want y'all to just hang on just a minute. I mean, can you even imagine what we have coming up? She said, and of course, an Instagram post. She's 40 now. Hey. She's working on a book about her life called "The Process of Healing and Therapeutic." And so she is, or therapeutic, I should say. It's also hard bringing up past events in my life. I've never been able to express them openly. She says she's taking, wait for this, an intellectual approach.
Wow.
To address her life.
Known for that.
By the way, this is not good news for Mr. Timberlake today because she calls him by name.
Uh-oh.
Like Justin Timberlake. So respectfully did when he apologized to Janet Jackson and me. He took the opportunity to apologize 20 years later with an exclamation point.
Oh, not happy.
So I guess she's saying that she's going to get in here and she's going to unpack a lot of stuff.
Well, she's got to do something to sell the book. So.
Right, yeah. So Simon & Schuster, they have stepped up for the tell-all.
How much?
What's up front? Looking. The deal was reportedly the second largest of all time, only behind the Obamas. But they don't give the number.
The Obamas got $10 million, didn't they?
I thought I saw 15 million. I may be wrong.
I don't know what the Obamas got. They're just saying it's slightly less than that.
That's a pretty good click, though. Whatever.
Yes, it is. Do you think Do you think Brittany's book will be a page turner?
I'm going to say it'll be one of those books that probably has pictures in the middle of it.
And some of the pictures she's released, I don't know.
Yeah.
Outrageous.
God love her. That's going to – so it says there was a click here, but, I mean, I'm holding a piece of paper, so I can't do it. It says there was a click in this store where you could click and see how much the Obamas made.
Oh, yeah, I got you.
Okay, so we'll get the Obamas number, and you'll know that Brittany was just off that a little bit.
Outrageous.
Because it's the second largest deal they've done of all time.
Looking forward to the chapter K-Fed. That ought to be a doozy.
There's going to be several good chapters of that.
Can K-Fed keep his kids fed?
Mm-hmm. It says here, it says the deal is allegedly worth $15 million, which is the second biggest deal of all time behind the Obamas, who signed a publishing deal for $60 million in 2017.
Whoa. Big jump.
But that was more than just a book, wasn't it? Wasn't they supposed to produce some shows or something?
Yeah, it just says
Jimmy
the
Jam
biggest
stuff?
deal of all time, so I'm not sure. But apparently, Brittany's signing a deal with them for her tell-all is what they're saying is $15 million, allegedly. Numbers right now.
Well, that ain't bad.
And there it is.
I mean, it's not Elon Musk money, but
How much do these influencers get? Like on Instagram, sadly, she'll post something and it'll just have millions of views. I'm sure she's making money off that as well.
Well, if those who go after influencers with their products are looking for the ones that get the most, I'm sure she does. Because just based on what you said, the numbers would seem to call for these people that spend money on Instagram to spend some there. Speaking of sending money, did you see the GOB is saying they want us, the American people, to know that Hunter Biden's Secret Service detail is $30,000 monthly renting for a mansion?
GOB?
GOP.
No.
They're wanting us to know that Hunter Biden's Secret Service details, when they look, include a $30,000 monthly rent for a mansion. Hunter Biden,
just so they can protect him.
Yeah, they have to go where he goes, I guess. Huh?
So, and of course,
maybe he can give him a painting to sell.
This Hunter Biden
make that money up.
This Hunter Biden thing is one of the most crazy. You know how you always see something going on, you just pretend it's not happening.
Oh yeah,
the Hunter Biden.
You mean riding dirty?
Yeah, the Hunter Biden ignoring of Hunter Biden is just amazing. But in all fairness,
well, Twitter may start acknowledging it here soon.
Right. Yeah, I will say this though. I'm not so sure that our president is not being truthful. If he tells you he really doesn't remember or doesn't know what Hunter Biden's doing, he probably doesn't.
Yeah, now.
Not now.
But Hunter knew what Hunter was doing.
Oh, sure. And the media.
When he was selling influence and to the big guy.
The big guy.
Right, yeah.
The big guy. Write the check, talk to the big guy.
I know, yeah. So, and all that. But, that's that's a little that's not as cute a story as talking on the CB to Big Mom, is it?
No, it's not. It doesn't warm the heart, Rick. It really doesn't.
No. Remember though, if all else fails, just say something cute.
Yeah.
That's
So I looked it up real quick. Brittany earns an estimated $22.22 million a year.
Right
she
now.
has, as an influencer, it's gained about 24 million followers on Instagram.
Wow. But doesn't that explain a lot? Doesn't it? I mean, you sometimes you feel like you're not part of this world.
America, what a great place.
You really aren't. We'll be back.
Rick and Bubba.
The political fence, and we need to pay attention. Back when Hillary Clinton was saying, I would have gotten elected if you hadn't found out what I was really doing. I mean, here's Trump saying, here's the Twitter guy saying, Trump could have won if we could have manipulated him with the media, but he found a way around it.
Exactly.
See, guys, that kind of stuff, you got to listen to what people are actually saying.
Yeah, and the point is, in that liberal crowd that he runs in, he feels like he has to apologize because they're going to attack him for it. That's how their mind works. That's what's embarrassing. Like I said, the same thing with Jimmy Fallon. They were beating him up, and he apologized again. Well, you shouldn't have to apologize.
He wants to be welcome to the Hollywood parties.
That's all it is.
And
it's embarrassing.
We continue. Eric in Tennessee. Eric, go ahead. 30 seconds. How are you?
Good morning.
Hey.
Rick, I had a job once upon a time where I made $20 an hour.
Wow.
I lost that job because of plant closure.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I had to get out and get a job to support my family. I went to a job where I made $8 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
I never lost my house. I never lost my cars.
Right.
I still did my job. I supported my family. Now I'm back to a new job where I make $15 an hour.
Yeah, you knew. I've given the example before, and you're another example of it. And what you did was exactly right. And you're good, another example. I brought up one that was glaring. My father, Greg's father, when he was fired by Jacksonville State University and did not know what was going to happen with the remainder of his contract, went to work at Walmart in the same city where he won the national championship. You know why? He was humble enough that he said, I'm not going to go through an uncertain time of income for my wife and my child who is still at home. So I'm going to go work and get a check wherever I can till this all gets resolved. How many men do you know that would go work at Walmart in the very same town where they were on billboards and heralded and one day would have the stadium named after them from winning the national championship? See, that's the humility of my father that I have always incredibly admired. And because it's there's not many men, just like the guy just called from Tennessee. He said, I'm not going to get the same job I had, but I'm going to get a job. And then I'm going to try to work my way back to that because my family's got to be provided for.
That's right. You got to find a way.
Cool water. Give me some water.
By the way, yesterday, speaking of that, you know how you just sometimes you just get it just like you like it?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Ended up being done with work, got to the house, everybody had something going on, you know, school just let out, so everybody's running in different directions. And I ended up by myself, propped my feet up, rolled over to Apple TV, sat back and relaxed, and watched the reboot, and which I love, of The Magnificent Seven.
Oh.
Dun, 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 dun.
I haven't seen the
dun,
reboot.
dun. Oh, the reboot is fantastic.
It is good.
I mean, Denzel Washington.
What's
it's
it on?
It's Chisholm. Come on, man.
What's it on?
It's on Apple TV or any of those
Amazon,
things. I'm sure there's more. Some of those. But boy, I just sat back. You know, it's rare that Daddy just props his feet up and says, "Bring the Western on." You know what I mean? Nobody's saying, "Why are we watching this? What day can we do this?" I don't know about Westerns. I'm just like, "Bring it on." How about this? And I know, of course, Westerns not known for their variety of topics. Once again, a small town being harassed by an evil man who wants to take it over.
Yeah.
And they go out.
Seems to be that plot.
And they go out and they hire what? Some guys that'll come in and take care of business.
You talking about the old cattle baron that's buying everything
to give
up?
the town back to the woman whose husband was killed by the evil man.
Right.
So, but not a lot of originality there, but really, really good. Loved it. Speaking of TV, we now have an NBA final for the third year in a row. Warriors will be taking on the Cavaliers.
That's right. It'll be the rubber match, so to speak. Cavaliers won the first one, had a big lead last year. Cavaliers came back and won that. So I think it's cool. This has kind of turned into the matchup we had growing up was the Lakers and the Celtics. Seemed like they played about every other year.
Right.
That's right.
So, I heard some people griping. Now they said, "Oh, same one, third year in a row." I'm like, "What? Are you kidding me? This is great. These are the two teams with the star power. This is who we want to see."
Well, you remember when I said, under the great Gary the Bulldozer Man, a man of great wisdom, who said, "Hey, I mean, you can't have nothing.
You can't have nothing.
Well, you can't have. I mean, you and
That's
people.
Hobie.
Hey, you put a team in there and ain't got players ain't nobody heard of. Everybody said, well, nobody knows these people. And then you go around there and you put two teams in there. You know, it's got the biggest stars in the NBA, and everybody said, well, there's these two teams again. You can't even have a final.
But what's funny, Rick, they are the dynasty teams right now, but not too long ago, they were the teams you never saw on TV because they couldn't win.
Plus, right now, we're at a 3-game series, and it's 1-1.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see who wins.
Boy, history will look good on one of these teams and bad on the other, because if you go 3 times and you've only won it once, people are going to go, looks bad.
Who do you think you are, the Atlanta Braves?
Yeah, I know.
Remember those guys? The Atlanta Braves had an era in there. They should have pulled more championships.
Yeah, they should.
They could win. They could win the NL pennant with no problem.
Yeah, I mean, just cruise to that.
You ought to hear Mac talk about Bobby Cox.
You just took the words out of my mouth.
And we've met Bobby Cox. I have a lot of respect for him. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame, but he liked to win with that long ball, and they could do that during the year. But they got once they got to the World Series, playing against the best pitchers, it didn't happen.
Dad will even complain. Do you remember when Sid Bream made that?
Yeah.
Before I was watching that game with my dad, and he was complaining because he didn't pinch run for Bream. He nearly cost us there.
Right.
Well,
should have pinch run.
I
for
have to
Bream.
agree.
That's a valid point. It's a valid
It
point.
there wouldn't have been a play at the plate. There wouldn't have been a play.
Right.
It wouldn't even been close.
Yeah, see, before you even said it, I said I'd like to get Mac Daddy's commentary on when the Braves finally got good and had good teams year after year and pulled out one championship.
You couldn't do it on air. I know that.
Right.
Well, the two gripes I had, they didn't play good baseball for the situation. Okay.
It is 6 minutes and some change past the hours. The Rick and Bubba Show rolls on. 28 years. Still standing. Still swinging. Speedy, the real Greg Burgess, Helmsy, Eddie Van Adler, all here as we start a brand new hour. Welcome back for a brand new hour. There's Bill Bubba Bussey.
Rick, glad to be here, and thank all of you for joining us.
All right, so we've got some people in trouble for messing with Kamala. Is that what's happening?
Rick,
here?
we have a talk show host on station WMAL in Washington, D.C. She's in trouble, got fired. Her name is Amber Athey, Athey. Not sure how you say that.
Athey? Whether it's long or short A.
Yeah, she was fired. She had a tweet after the State of the Union address, and if you remember, Kamala was wearing a brown pantsuit, okay? She says, Kamala looks like a UPS employee.
Okay.
What can Brown do for you? Nothing good, apparently. She wrote that on March the 1st, referring to the old UPS tagline.
Yeah. Right. It's a joke about the pantsuit and the color of it. And she's been fired for that?
She said there was no initial fallout, but after she spoke out against trans kids,
here we go.
She claims to have been the target of a maniacal left-wing activist attack. She wrote that her bosses at WMAL and the Spectre magazine fired her without a chance to defend herself. She said the Spectre laughed off the attack by the woke mob. But now now she has a cover story in this week's magazine where she recounted what happened. So she wasn't fired from the Spectre. She was just fired from the radio station. So she's still there. And she goes into how all this kind of went down and that she became the target to be canceled. And apparently the pressure was too much and she got canceled.
Over the UPS comment?
Yes, but it didn't. It didn't blow up until she got into the trans argument.
So
and then that became an issue, although it was on March the 1st. So,
well, I mean, you see what's happening here, and it is one of those things that. But I guess what I'm trying to figure out, if you're looking at political correctness and which team has the most power. Don't you come across looking a little more woke if you fire this person for the comments on trans kids than Kamala Harris?
I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking.
I'm talking about in the woke playoff.
She was also told that that the comments about the vice president were racist, referring to UPS and what she had on.
But
I don't see.
But if
I don't get that one.
If Hillary Clinton were the vice president,
right,
and she had on a brown pantsuit, because we talk about Hillary's pantsuits all the time.
The joke was about the brown pantsuit.
It was about the pantsuit.
Right.
What's Brown done for you?
Right. I mean, I'm sorry. Making fun of clothing is not a racial issue.
No, UPS worker.
If you're dressed like a UPS worker, white, black, brown, whatever, I mean, it's a UPS brown pantsuit joke.
All right.
Don't we all? I mean, everybody knows that. And so I don't know. The other thing is everybody's losing their minds on, and this is
the fact you can't make a joke anymore about anything.
Well, I'm telling you.
And look, the vice president is fair game because of her position.
100%.
And she's famous. So.
Republican, Democrat, or Independent. the vice president, as we, you got to go back and feel so. But who was the potato guy that said misspelled potato?
Dan Quayle.
Dan Quayle must be saying, "Man, I just was in the wrong era." I mean, the things you can't make fun of now. And
do you know it's progressive?
He looks like a
worse. You know,
he looks like a Rhodes Scholar compared to these morons we got now up there now. I mean, and I'm talking about on both sides of the fence to some degree. So now. Bubba, I love the headline, and surely they're making fun here by using the term "shocking." Is that being funny?
You would think.
So this is Vice President Kamala Harris as well. Bubba, this is what the Daily Mail says: Kamala's mask slips. Mm-hmm. Shocking images show the Vice President and school principal maskless as kids are forced to wear face coverings at a D.C. school. So. But I will tell you,
it didn't look like it slipped. It looked like she just had it down.
But let's go back to this again. I know that we now are saying that we should talk to children about your dating life and sex when they're
really look like they're slipped
when they're third grader down. Can I tell you a good way? This is a good way to teach little kids about good little socialists. Okay, first of all, as I've said again, look at the kids. Half of them don't even have it on right. Okay. But here's the thing: that mask is doing.
I see 3 not over the nose.
Right.
But anyway.
Yeah, and imagine if they were like between 2 and 4 years old.
Oh, I know.
All right, so but this is a good teaching tool for the kids. You see the good little socialists here, and what you are seeing with the mask mandates and all that are still going on in schools. What the kids need to learn right now is those that love socialism, okay, but who are going to be in the ruling class. When you decide to embrace socialism and or communism, what's going to happen is the Kamala Harris, see, she's ruling class kids. Bud, would you like to lead the class? She's ruling class, so she doesn't have to wear a mask.
While all the peasants do.
And you're the peasants, and you're under the tyrannical central government, and you'll put your mask on and you'll like it. But the ruling class doesn't have to wear it. This is a great time to teach about the realities of socialism because that's what happens. Kamala Harris isn't even reaching for a mask because she's ruling class.
You know, if the mask...
And she knows it doesn't do any good.
If the mask thing kept going like it was.
Right.
I thought about a funny bit that I thought Babylon Bee ought to do, and it's about somebody coming out with a new publication, and it called Face Boy. And you actually had pictures of people with their mask off. So you knew what they looked like?
Well, guys, it's weird. I mean, I look at...
In this week's edition, we have the Vice President, Kamala Harris.
Well, it is weird. If you want to, like, make your... I mean, it just feels so, Rhythm Nation is like today, and I would never say this, okay? There's plenty of other examples. It's just one I see every day, okay? So, because I'm no fan of The View, okay? And I would hate to cause anyone to watch it, but when I sit here every day and that View cranks up and they show the ladies come out, whoever the lineup is for the day, and they show all these Rhythm Nation robots in the studio audience with their mask on, just and their face covered, it's weird. I mean, like right now, you ever see these things now where they're doing some promo of some kind of highlights or something, and it's during the time everybody has a mask on? It just looks weird. To your point, you really don't know what anybody looks like. It's Rhythm Nation.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was somewhere just the other day, and I was trying to understand somebody at this business who had a mask on, and they already spoke a strong accent from another country.
Sure.
And I mean, I was doing all I could. I couldn't. I finally just looked around the table and said, "Anybody can help me here?"
Yeah.
I mean, I need help. Can't follow.
That reminds me, and I'm surely they have a mask on the other line. I literally was ordering something the other day, and I wanted to talk to a person, and I got a low talker, and the person even said it. I said, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I really said those words. I said, I just honestly, and maybe it's me, I can't hear you. You're not speaking with enough volume to be heard. Mm-hmm. And I thought she would say things like, "Hey, you're old and getting deaf," or "Hey, it's just
possible."
Yeah, whatever. But you know what she said? Yeah, I just don't talk very loud. Yeah, but
talk louder.
But you're in customer service.
Yeah, let's try it right now.
You're on the phone.
Let's
Can
practice.
you physically not talk louder?
People call you to place orders. If you're a low talker, maybe you don't have what's cut out for this job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't talk very loud. Well,
Maybe
you're
try,
killing me.
Can you
maybe
handle,
try a librarian.
Can you? There you go.
Yeah.
That's a great
There it
job.
is.
That's good.
Can you?
Give him a shish.
Can you hand the phone? Is there another person around you that seems
Right.
kind of loud and obnoxious? Can I talk to them?
Can I talk to the loud employee?
Is there any loud person that will call me honey and sugar as my order's getting done?
Please.
You know?
Send them my way.
Yeah. Now, what do you need, baby? I'll talk loud. What do you need over there now? Okay, well, how many do you want? You know? I said, I can't hear you. Like, first saying it might be on me.
Right.
No, I just don't talk right. Well, you're going to have to.
We got a problem.
John Thomas, everyone's favorite South African, has arrived.
Uh-oh.
Find out what's going on in the world of Johnny. I think they've arrived. We'll be right back.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.
Cars.
Waited on the long ball. And Tom Glavine, Hall of Famer, great pitcher. But, I mean, during the year, they would show that overhead shot. He was getting strikes. It looked like they were 6 inches off the plate. And they went to when they got in the playoffs in the World Series, boy, they brought that strike zone down, and he could not get it by people.
Well, as someone who's just, doesn't know.
Just my opinion, love them, but.
Who has a very general knowledge of baseball, and I acknowledge that. It looked like to me that in those years, the Braves got there because they were just the better team. They had better pitching and better hitting. And then when they got in the World Series, where you actually had to play strategic baseball, they stayed with, we got better pitching, better hitting. And it didn't, and it cost them.
Well, and to Bubba's point, if that was the case, and I've seen documentaries and footage of that, and you can't argue with it. Okay, the umpires didn't have the accountability they have now,
Right.
and we don't have the technology. They didn't have the technology that we do now. So,
but it would have been interesting to see if they had run and played ball and situational ball more like Tony La Russa coached than if the way that Bobby Cox did. I mean, that's pretty funny.
Right. Well,
I mean,
hey, you can't even have multiple World Series championships. You win there now 100,000 times. So here are the best. But look, it's the two best teams. They've proven they're the best teams this year in the NBA again. They have the biggest star power. I think it'll be
LeBron may end up being the biggest star to ever play the game. I mean, to me, he's in the Jordan conversation.
Of course
he's
he
not
is. Yeah.
he's not there yet. But
I think he is there. I don't think you can compare him and Jordan. LeBron is a facilitator. Jordan was a scorer. And they're two different types of players. Right. So it's unfair to compare the two. Look, Jordan can't do what LeBron is doing. He can't. LeBron can't do what Jordan did because they're two different players. And I do really think that he should be in the conversation with the greatest or one of the greatest of all time.
And why don't we just say that?
Absolutely.
He's coming into his own now with the numbers and the records, and he'll pass Jordan on a few of them here this year and maybe even next. So, he's obviously in that conversation. But
this thing
Jordan was clutch.
Sports people can be some of the biggest.
They drive me insane.
Complainers and whiners. No matter what you give them, they complain about. Well, it's not this. I guarantee you, if we had two teams that had a Cinderella story this year, you know what they'd be saying? Ain't nobody gonna watch this.
Well, and here's the thing.
Star power. And you got on the other side with the Warriors, you've got a complete change in the way that people look at basketball. People thought the three was good, but you can't live by it, and they've proven you can. Their numbers, their stats over the last 3 years are phenomenal. Plus, watching them play is a lot of fun.
And when people do throw LeBron and Michael in that conversation together, it does bother the people like myself that had Michael Jordan posters in the room growing up. But guess what? Embrace it. We'll never see a guy like LeBron James again. We won't. Watch it and embrace what he's doing.
Can't they both just be great?
Thank you, Greg.
I mean,
that's some common
But you're
sense.
always going to talk about who was the greatest.
But I know. But why do we do that is the question.
That's such a difficult.
But both of them.
But it is fun to do. But it's so difficult.
Yeah, they're both that player that if you take them away from that team suffers. That one guy that changes everything.
I always like to think of it, what if my life depended on it? If you had one trip down the court and your absolute life was going to depend on it, who do you want handling the ball? Michael
First of all,
Jordan?
what a strange world that would be.
Yeah, I know, but I'm trying to take this to an extreme
I'm with you.
to get to a point.
It's kind of like the Hunger Games or something.
It's the Hunger Games of basketball.
There it is. Well, it's just like yesterday on the daily documentary. Adler wanted to do something funny about tattoos, and I was like, "Well, I don't do tattoos. Wouldn't do it. What? No, okay, Rick. I'm trying to do something on the documentary. If you were going to be killed if you didn't put a tattoo on, and I'm back to Greg. Wow, what a bizarre world!
Wow, it's a tough situation.
Yeah, so I went with barbed wire on my arm. So I mean, but not the one that Blake Shelton put out that he made fun of himself. It looks like a deer tracks across his arm. I don't know who put that thing on Shelton. And he does make fun of it. But that thing, what is that?
I think it is supposed to be deer tracks. It looks like ladybugs.
Yeah, it's a very weird.
It's odd.
So anyway, it's a great final. It's been good the last 2 times they played. I assume this will be good.
I'll tell you what I like now. I've really become a fan of Steph Curry's ball handling ability. I mean, he Curly Joe Neal's going wow, you know.
Right, and we finally got Kevin Durant to the final too.
Yep.
How about that?
That'll be something new to watch.
He may be the difference maker, by the way. They just got too many people to cover, don't they?
It's we'll see.
Can we have a fun zone from here on out?
Yes, we can. Okay. Yep. Well, this is so bizarre. I think it's going to be infuriating, but it's so bizarre you almost have to laugh at it. Some of the things we're doing now on college campuses. It is 21 minutes now past the hour of the Rick and Bubba Show. From the No Name Studio, still settling in and working our way into the next chapter of the Rick and Bubba Show. Now, 28 years we've been doing this. So thanks for being with us again today. The gang is all here. And, Bubba, we're about to bring in everybody's favorite South African. He has spent a lot of time dropping by from Living Hope, South Africa, the pride of Cape Town, John Thomas.
John, how are you?
Johnny.
It is so good to be back with you. We are here, Rick.
Hello, John. So good to see you.
It's great to be here. And I heard from somebody who I had breakfast with this morning that you were ripping me off a bit earlier this morning.
Ripping him off, Rick. What have you ripped off?
Well, you're talking like John. I will tell you, Bubba's birthday just passed, and somebody forgot to call.
I don't know if it's birthday.
Yeah. You want me to get that
Rick
one
didn't
to
let
you?
you know.
I'll get that one
Does
to
it
you.
help, Rick?
Yes,
For
it
me
does.
to call?
Yeah. Yes,
Okay.
it does.
Absolutely.
It absolutely does. As a matter of fact, I was looking for it this past October, and you were a little late, but I finally got it. Yeah. So how? And you got an introduction today to the audience. I don't know that the audience has ever. Victor, you've never been on the air before.
No, I thought you were introing me, the most loved South African. But
yeah, right. So this is your son, Victor.
It is, and Victor has taken over from me as executive director at Living Hope, and it's a really exciting journey, and we see God's hand in it. I had nothing to do with the process. The trustees, one particular trustee really felt that Victor was God's man and put his name forward. I withdrew from any succession planning process, and it has been a wonderful journey to see how God has prepared him for the last 14 years in Vancouver, Canada, as a church planter and a director of the university there. And so I've handed over those responsibilities. I have a fancy title, trying to figure out what it means, but I'm now global ambassador for Living
You're
Hope.
the global ambassador.
Yeah, which means I can get onto the Rick and Bubba show.
Right, yeah. which means you
have an open door ticket.
Yeah, that's right, always. Yeah. So Victor, I know you and I were talking about, John was talking about bringing you here. Now you and your wife and your kids came through, and if I remember, this is interesting. You and I were going to speak at a church in a part of Georgia.
Yeah.
And you were going to be there and then I was supposed to be there a few months later.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, my schedule to be there was stopped by a worldwide pandemic. Do you know that I just now went to that church last month?
No, I did not.
Yeah, it finally happened. Do you remember that over in Rookville, Georgia? Yeah. And so I'm like, what are the odds of you coming all the way from Vancouver and we're both going to speak at the same church in a few weeks of each other? But you got yours in because you were staying at our house and then going there, and then the pandemic hit, and then I was delayed 2 years.
Yeah.
So and if I recall, your daughter got gum in her hair?
Yes, on our drive, got gum in her hair, and your wife sorted my daughter's hair out with peanut butter.
That is correct.
Yeah.
You didn't know about that little trick,
No, it
did
was
you?
a great way to meet you.
Yeah.
I don't think I know about that.
Yeah, if you
trick.
get gum caught in your hair, and especially little girls' hair, it just gets worse and worse the more you try to get it out.
Yeah.
But peanut butter will help it slide out.
Really?
It'll come out. Yeah.
Well, I'll be.
Without,
I didn't know that.
because the little lady was, it hurts really bad for people who keep trying to comb a piece of gum out of your hair, and so finally Sherry came through with the peanut butter.
Yeah, I have never heard of that.
Yeah, it's so
a couple times in my life. I wish I'd known about that.
Right, look, we're just here for you.
Yeah.
So, John, the transition. I know that you didn't play a role in Victor being named by the board, but did you and your wife Avril just feel it was God's time for you to move to a different role?
Yeah, well, Rick, when I joined the full-time staff of Living Hope, although I had been the founder and chairman of the board, I moved across to executive director in 2016 after I retired from the church. I said to them, I'm going to give you 5 years' notice on my first day. And so the trustees knew that I'd wanted to exit by the end of last year and began the succession process in earnest at the beginning of last year. And it has been a wonderful thing for us because as parents, both Avril and I have really also been very encouraged by the opportunity to hand over to one son. And the trustees engaged in a very rigorous and robust process, and I exited, as I said, as soon as Victor's name was on the table because I wanted the process to be objective and fair. And if I was in that, it could look like it was all a rigged situation.
Yes.
But it's been very clear to the trustees after some, I think, fairly intensive interviews that God had set Victor aside for the job.
Yeah, I want you to know that my brother here says that nepotism is not a bad word.
Yeah.
Well, listen, let me tell you, there's no nepotism in a non-profit.
John, how do you say the word situation again? Say that one more time.
Situation.
Situation.
Is that how you're saying it?
Sort of situation.
Yeah.
Hey,
I like that. I like that. I like the way you say it better than we do.
Do you find,
situation.
Victor, that once John started hanging out with us, that he started picking up a little bit of a Southern accent, but a different kind of Southern?
Yeah, he's got Rick impressions as well. So,
yeah. Is that right?
Correct. Absolutely.
You've developed a little Rick impression.
Well, we've heard the John impersonation. I'd like to hear the Rick impersonation.
Well, I try and impersonate what you try and say on air about me.
Right. Yeah.
And every now and again, I hear that you were talking about me, and I try and call in, and I must say, congratulations on your new studio.
Thank you.
And I tried to call in on day one and day two, but We Be Big did not want to take my call.
Oh, John.
Well, we had some issues, I think.
John, it was too soon. We didn't even know. Well, you don't know.
So will you do your Rick impersonation?
Well, I don't want to embarrass the poor guy.
No, that's right. Because he's going to do you back.
Ask Bubba, that's impossible.
Yeah.
At this point, the thing, some people say that impression is the largest form of flattery, but it's really not.
Hey, John, this is Rick.
John, you're going to have to work on it.
He does lose the accent.
You did lose the accent, though. You did drop that off, so it's getting better.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
The word Rick has really locked in on his four-wheeler.
Yeah.
He likes the way you say four-wheeler.
Four-wheeling.
See, that's better, but it's really the way you go. Rick, I was wondering, is it possible that Victor and I could do some four-wheeling?
That's pretty good.
It's almost like, he says it so beautifully, like this really big, profound question is coming. I'm like, oh, wow, I got to really think this through. Oh, the four-wheelers, is that all you're asking? Yeah. But just the way you ask it's like one of life's most important decisions. We'll come back and we'll kind of jump in. Some of you may not know much about Living Hope, South Africa, and what's going on there, and we'll see what happens next.
Rick and Bubba.
Evergreen State College. They have berated a professor and called for his resignation after he objected to an event. Now, let me tell you what he objected to, where white students were asked to leave the campus for a day. Only the white students. The annual event is usually characterized by people of color leaving the campus to show their contribution to the campus, while white students and faculty members are attending anti-racism workshops. That's how we normally do it. That in and of itself is quite bizarre.
Yeah,
but
a
that
normal
was
one
that was
sounds odd,
normal.
doesn't it? Yeah.
But now they wanted to say this time they want all white people off the campus for them to have a day to themselves. Again, somewhere Martin Luther King Jr. must be confused. But anyway, he's and this guy, of course, objected. The professor, he said, "There's a huge difference between a group or a coalition, deciding to voluntarily absent themselves from a shared space in order to highlight their vital and underappreciated roles, and a group or a coalition encouraging another group to go away. That's two completely different things. I would encourage others saying we need to. I object to the new formulation, and people should have a right to speak, and they must never be excluded based on skin color or asked to leave, whether they be white or of color." Well. He said, look, if you want to voluntarily say we're going to show you what it's like for us not to be here, fine, we've done that. Now you're demanding that because of the color of someone, they be removed from the campus. That is a different thing, and that does not promote what I thought we were trying to overcome with our first formula.
I thought it was called segregation.
I think that is what it's called.
That's happening everywhere. They want.
Yeah, and
we're
so
wanting
the world
housing for just
now think about
one
how
race and housing for we're going backwards.
We're going backwards. We really are.
Yeah, they're actually on the George Wallace plan the early days here.
Yeah,
guys, we had our first family was an African American family for 8 years, and it seems like we've gone backward rather than forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
which seems
now when the professor Rick had addressed this with a student protester. A video was shot of it, and the mob is shouting him down and wanting him to resign.
Oh, he can't get a word in.
Now, we're not going to play all of it because the language gets so horrifying, but I want you to notice as you get enough of it, this is exactly what we were talking about and have been talking about for the last couple of weeks. It's something that I've really pinpointed, even being out coaching and dealing with young people today. There is a generation, this is a general statement, it does not apply to individuals who have been raised right, but there is a general disrespect and disregard for authority with these people, these young people. They have no class, they have no civility, they have no respect for an adult or a person in a place of authority, which is why we have so much chaos. It's why we get people shot. Yeah. And it's ultimately going to be why people turn their backs and thumb their nose at God, because like I put this out because it really hit me the other day when we were doing our Bible study on Wednesday. Some of y'all need to understand who even believe in God. We belong to him. He does not belong to us.
Right.
Okay. We don't tell him what to do, and we don't shut. We belong to him. He created us. We didn't create him, even though some people may think that. Where we order him around, tell him we want him to change based. We want him to be what we want him to be, not who he's already said he is. But all this is a ploy to get human beings to disrespect authority, so they ultimately disrespect the ultimate authority. But just listen. We can't play much of it. They don't even know how to have a civil back and forth discussion. It's all shout people down, overwhelm them like a crazed mob.
Yep.
It is. It's unreal.
So they're in the hall. You got them left, right,
and get you a look
front.
at them.
Okay,
that's a good looking bunch.
There's been a hollering and screaming. Finally, he's got an order. He's like, whoa, 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 and he finally gets a word in.
Difference between debate and dialectic. Debate, wait a second. No, it is. Debate means you are trying to win. Dialectic means you are using disagreement to discover what is true. I am not interested in debate. I am interested only in dialectic, which does mean I listen to you and you listen to me.
We don't care what terms you want to speak on. This is not about you.
I'm talking.
We are not speaking
all about him.
On terms of white privilege. This is not a discussion. You have lost that one.
I am talking about terms that serve the truth.
And then I got to cut it because they get to go.
They start F-bombing and get you a look at that fine-looking bunch.
What a bunch of dweebs.
I got old fat head up there up front, and they all dressed really sharp. They're looking good. That bunch just climbed off the couch.
What a bunch of dweebs. Well, the thing is,
unreal.
here's a grown man here's a grown man who I'm going to bet I would probably disagree with on a lot of things. But here's a grown man who's trying to teach them that they don't even understand what they're trying to do. back. It is 35 minutes past Rick and Bubba's show from the No Name Studio, and visiting with old friend John Thomas, his son Victor, here with us today. Do want to point you to Cook's Pest Control in Centricon. Yesterday, the fine folks at Cook's were down at the farm and we doing the work, doing the monthly maintenance, but also saying, hey, we're here. Let's get inside and look around, see if anything we need to deal with. We had a little situation at the barn where we need to go in and have some rodents there. So they took care of that yesterday, and it was good to know that we had Cook's Pest Control on our side yesterday. So go to cookspest.com. They'll help you as well, and you'll get a free, no-obligation evaluation of your property, your home, whatever the case may be, and they'll tell you what they think needs to be done, and you can decide whether you want to use them or not. Let me tell you something. We'll save you time. They're the best in the business. So put them to work for you. Cook's Pest Control. Go to cookspest.com or rickandbubba.com under the sponsors button, and you can sing with us. Looky, looky, looky. Here comes Cookie. Cook's Pest Control. All right, so John Thomas, Victor Thomas here hanging with us today. Living Hope, South Africa. He's brought us some coffee mugs from that are Living Hope. They're really, really cool. And I remember this, John. Did you know this? This is a John Thomas fact that maybe come up on an upcoming edition of the Giant Game of Rick and Bubba Knowledge. And Bubba can attest to this because he and I have been doing this show for 28 years. I did not drink coffee at all
until you came to Cape Town, South Africa.
That is a true story.
And we educated you.
Yeah. I remember, John.
Because you were coffee deprived.
I was in your home, and you brought up coffee, and I was like, I don't really drink coffee. And, of course, you were aghast, and you were like, you don't drink coffee? And I was like, no. And then you said, oh, Rick, it's because you've never truly had coffee. And you went in, and you prepared me a cup of coffee, and I drank it, and I realized, Victor, you already know this because you were raised around the finest coffee. I tasted it, and I said, there is a substantial difference. I'm just drinking bad coffee. Mm-hmm. And so I loved it. And then I'm talking about last Wednesday or Thursday, less than a week ago, I'm in the break room fixing delicious coffee from South Africa and part of the BuzzBox coffee program. And everybody here thought like I did that coffee's coffee because, we're some new people here that we haven't worked with before or worked around. And so I just said, look, our coffee is your coffee. You're welcome to try it. You can do whatever. And I went in there, and they're all saying, oh, my goodness, the difference. We had no idea it was that large a difference. So I want to thank you for making me a coffee drinker.
Well, we want to thank you for your support from BuzzBox.
Yeah.
For Living Hope. I mean, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And we really appreciate people drinking coffee so that we can do ministry in South Africa.
Yeah, if you drink BuzzBox every single month, we send a grant to Living Hope South Africa. It is because of the Burgess Memorial Fund. It's focused on the children's program and helps to fund that. And I remember the first time that you were talking with us. A lot of you don't know the history of Living Hope. At one time, John Thomas, a Baptist pastor, was receiving money from the United States government with George W. Bush. And I remember him telling you that you were the only Baptist pastor that could say that you'd been funded by the United States government for the idea to take on the AIDS epidemic was to actually start with children and then provide the help that people who already have it need. Praise God, that went from being more of a, we'll usher you into your earthly death to now we treat you and we help you. Mm-hmm. But he thought your approach to this epidemic was the right one.
It's a wonderful story, Rick. So Living Hope began, actually, just for a little bit of history, based on a false statistic. In November 1999, a local hospital called me and said, we need help. The AIDS pandemic in our area is sitting at 44% of the population of the area called Masiphumelele, right across the road from Living Hope. And For you, we allow you to say Masi because Masi Pumalele is a bit of a mouth.
It is. So we just say Masi.
Exactly.
Masi Palalele. I want to try it one time.
Masi Pum.
Masi Pum.
Masi Pumalele.
Lele.
Masi Pum Alele.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
We'll
That's
give
pretty
you
good right
about
there.
Masi Pualele.
8.7 out of 10.
That's not bad.
Or Masi.
Right.
Masi Pumalele actually means we have arrived, and the tragedy is they've arrived in deep, tragic poverty.
Right.
And we're able to bring the hope of Jesus and break the despair of poverty and disease because you drink coffee here and help support the ministry of Living Hope. And so we're all so grateful for you, BuzzBox supporters and drinkers. And keep doing that so that Living Hope is able to do more ministry with children and adults.
So, Victor, now, I mean, all the programs, the last time we were updated, I mean, Living Hope South Africa is comprehensive. I mean, it deals with so many things.
Yeah.
So run the services right now that you guys, there's so many.
We have 53 programs that are running
Okay.
all
You
the
can't
time.
run them all
I'm
then,
still
okay.
learning
Right.
about them all.
Yeah.
But there's like 5 main streams. Healthcare is a key piece to what we do, and about half of our staff is dedicated to that, going into people's homes, caring for their needs there. And then we also have the life skills program with the teens and the youth in the afternoons. And we have a family strengthening piece, looking at violence within homes. It's quite a big challenge in our communities. And then also that first 1,000 days of life, from conception to the 1,000th day. That's a strong focus in that program. Agricultural.
Interesting, Rick and Bubba. The World Health Organization says the first 1,000 days of a child's life is the most important. And do you know where they declared life begins?
Conception.
World Health Organization
Wow.
said it begins at conception.
Wow.
And the first 300 days of a child's life, they say, is in the womb. And so we teach moms to love the gift that is in their womb. And very often they did not become pregnant, we say fall pregnant, by choice. It was something that often arose out of a sort of, men forcing themselves on them.
Understood.
Not quite a rape, but there's often in our country a sense of ownership of women, and so we will do with you whatever we want to.
Understood.
And so there's often rejection of the baby in the womb, and we are able to say, you know what, God has a plan for that baby. That baby is not an accident. That baby has a plan. God has a plan for them. And teach moms to love their babies in the womb and look after them. That's the first 1,000 days program.
Yeah, which is really incredible program. I got to be part of. We have these graduations, and 56 moms are graduating from one of the 8 communities we're working in. And some of these communities, like one of the communities we working in, 80% unemployment in these communities, so just an opportunity to come alongside people. Often some of the only meals kids are getting is the meals they get through Living Hope and at those life skill education programs. And so that's amazing. Substance abuse also program. We actually have a couple that moved from Birmingham all the way to Cape Town, and the husband is working with 10 to 12-year-old boys who are users. Maybe not addicts, but are experimenting with that and trying to help them stay in school, because if you drop out of school, there's not a lot of hope. And so that's pretty incredible. They're an amazing couple right here from Birmingham.
And then we were discussing in the break, I know, do you want to talk about the Elon Musk thing? I didn't realize that John and Elon Musk went to the same school.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd like to hear a little more about that. He may throw you a few Twitter shares or something.
Right. So you guys went to the same school?
Yes.
He's South African?
Yes, born and bred in South Africa, and I went to a school called Pretoria Boys High. And about, I think, probably 20 years after I went to school, Elon Musk went to high school there. And he was a very average student. My nephew was in the same class as him. And he said Elon used to sit in the back and he would get good grades for maths and computer science. And while he was at school, he developed this thing called PayPal.
While he was at school there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then came over to the US, grew it, and sold it, and then, got into SpaceX
everything else.
and
Cars and
social
batteries
media.
and
So you see, there's a good South African for you. I haven't been able to get to him to try and figure out how he can give us $1 billion or something.
I was about to say, I know that he's definitely based on the guys at Babylon Bee when they interviewed him. I think he's still seeking. He's open to the faith.
Yeah.
And so maybe if you guys could get an audience with him,
if you could get a penny a tweet, you'd be all right.
Whether he acknowledged that your true motivation is from God or not, he certainly can still see what an impact this incredible ministry has on the people of South Africa.
Well, I don't know if anybody who's listening has a door to get into Elon Musk, but let us know.
Yeah.
Tweet him.
Great. You can call him homeboy. That's great. We'll come back. We'll wrap up. Phone calls or anything on your mind. John, Victor, great to see both of you. So glad you're here. Looking forward to spending some time together. And
are you going to get to ride four-wheelers?
I think so.
I think so. As long as Rick's not scared of rain.
We'll be right back.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.
He's trying to say, look, y'all don't even know how to carry on a conversation about a topic.
If you want to talk to me about what I said,
Let's
I will
have a
tell you what I
dialectic.
meant, and you tell me what you think I meant, and we'll come to a conclusion. But anytime he tries to make a good point, I watch most of the thing. They start just overwhelming, because they can't, answer. When he asks them a good question and they can't answer it, they just start yelling. Then they start that stupid, hey, hey, ho, ho. Oh, Gooden's got to go.
Gotta go.
Look, hey, let's come up with a different song for protest. And I'm about hey, hey, hold out. I mean,
Let
you
me
get a little
ask you
more
this.
original.
This had to do with a black-white issue or a white people of color issue to begin with, right?
In the beginning,
They have a day.
In the beginning, this is the new thing where we will leave society and
Right.
show you what it's like to be without us.
So-
Women not going to,
Right.
But what they wanted to do this time was they didn't want to leave and have attention brought to their culture. Here's what it's like for us not to be on the campus. They wanted all white people removed from the campus.
But what I saw right there was a white instructor arguing with white kids.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. The
Did
white
I miss
kids,
that?
they're the ones calling him racist because they're so bleeding
well,
hard.
keep-
And again, they're trying to speak for people. Now, there is, I think, one girl that starts debating him actually is black, but
Well, I didn't see
these
that
others are trying to speak for people.
Well, I'm
and
just
tell them
looking
what
at
they
that
should
picture
think.
there. I don't see
Can I-
maybe one African.
You're right.
Well, it's video here, and it just keeps rolling. It's about 15 minutes long, and we're just letting it go.
Can I open up the door, too, on some of these? I'm talking about, for some reason, I don't know why it is. There's no more lily white, almost to the point of transparent white people than the white leftists.
Oh yeah,
white leftists they have very little muscle tone.
Yeah.
They always look very unhealthy.
They need to bathe.
They always look very unhealthy.
Vegetarian.
They seem like their vitamin intake's not what it needs to be. They've got some.
Sure.
They definitely have some deficiencies. But what it is,
The women need to wax their lip.
yeah,
A lot of
yeah.
them.
But let me
Right.
let me. And that's a general
Little
statement.
woodsy.
I know there's exceptions to that, but I want to go back to this. But at the end of the day, if I could just pull back the curtain for just a minute, they don't even mean it.
No, they don't mean
They're
it. Right?
patronizing you. They think this makes them feel better about themselves. They have so little self-esteem. They don't even know who they are, and they think this makes them mod. They think it makes them hip. They think it makes them, on the edge of society. They really don't even mean what they're saying.
Same thing with the Notre Dame walkout the other day.
They didn't know what
I
they
guarantee you the majority of those kids that got up did it because they felt pressure to, or they thought, like I say, they didn't mean it. They were trying to somehow, they feel guilty about something. And they did not mean it, but they did it because they thought they were supposed to.
We know what it's like when people can't have a conversation. I call it the yeah, but people.
Yeah, but.
Yeah, but. And there's a time for yeah,
Yeah.
but. But yeah, but now it's become something that people say. It doesn't even, like, for instance, if someone said, I think somebody stole my shoes, and they're jumping up and down about it, and then I go and I find the shoes under the person's desk back to the left, and I realized their shoes were never stolen. They're just giving a rant about, I'm not going to have people
Because I had this speech ready about stolen
and I
shoes.
come up and I say, hey, I found your shoes. Yeah, but. No, there's not a yeah, but. I have solved the problem. I have answered the question. Your original thought was incorrect.
And the speech no longer applies.
Right. This, whatever. Hey, man, y'all, you did this. No, okay, well, we'll just give you money back and we'll give you 2 more shirts. Yeah, but. Well, I mean, we resolved the problem. I mean, okay, something didn't work out, and I'm going to tell you one thing. Well, no, there's no need for the rest of the speech. We've answered the question, or I've clarified where I am on my discussion.
And that's what this guy was trying to do, but they wouldn't let him because every time he made a good point, then they overwhelm him so they can keep, screaming and doing that.
It's like
How did he sound?
No, I mean, you guys, it's like the time the guy called up and said, y'all say we shouldn't put any weight in somebody's opinion because they're a celebrity. Well, what about your celebrities? I said, yeah, I agree. You shouldn't put any more weight in our opinion as anybody else's. Yeah, but. No, I actually agree with you.
Yeah.
No, I'm not being inconsistent. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Well, you think your opinion No, I just said it didn't. Yeah, but.
How come a lot of these students don't have shoes on? Aren't they? They're in a building
That's
at
a
school.
big, stinky, fat bunch of students.
It's a bunch
Get
of
you a look
hippies.
at it. They
It's a
need to
bunch of
brush their
hippies.
teeth. They need to lose weight, and they need to shut the crap up.
Thank you, Greg. What I would say though to these beatnik types,
They do.
You can still be edgy and bathe,
Right.
okay, and keep yourself clean. And brush
There's a
your teeth.
river somewhere you can get in.
Bubba, Rick and Bubba.
As Trump continues his tour, so far so good. We like a lot of the things that he's been saying, but I must give all of us a heads up. The next one, the G7 summit.
Rick, I thought we were in the fun zone.
On climate.
At the end of the weekend.
Well, I did too. Bubba, I got news for you. What Donald Trump's going to say about climate change could be fun.
Well, you never know.
We'll see. He may not. Like I say, and somebody told me that that's what the Pope gave him. The Pope gave him something he's written on. The phone troll music, and you can fire that up right now at 866-WE-BE-BIG. All 10 lines are available. You can ask questions, bring comments to the table, whatever the case may be. You got questions you want to ask. John Thomas is still hanging out with us because he's not leaving until he's on a four-wheeler. And so that's they're here too. If you have questions on that, 866-WE-BE-BIG. Totally your call. You're running the show now as we wrap up this hour. And for many of you, we wrap up our time together today. Go ahead, Bub.
Well, one other little breaking story.
Okay.
If I said DeLorean to you, what would come to mind?
Back to the Future.
Okay. You remember the car company?
Yes.
The DeLorean.
And I remember that guy. He was married to Bo Derek. I remember that.
Yeah, some kind of tie-in.
Yeah.
Did you know that company is coming back? They're based in Texas, and they are unveiling an all-electric version of the DeLorean in the near future. The Back to the Future car, all-electric.
Can you even imagine? To Andy out of Jacksonville. Andy, welcome to the Rick and Bubba Show. 30 seconds, brother, unless you get a timeout. Go ahead.
Hey, well, good morning, Rick and Bubba. Welcome back to the airwaves this morning.
No, sorry about that. Yeah, we did go down for a while. Panic swept the world.
Well, one thing I was listening, and as you were talking about the snake there at the house, I was able to pull up the picture and confirmed it with two herpetologists that you were looking at a Kishon piscivorus or a cottonmouth, not a copperhead there.
Well, here's
if you look at the Zorro mask. Yeah.
Yeah, I got emails on that, and what they're saying is probably what you're saying.
What is it?
It doesn't look like an adult cottonmouth. But the juveniles actually have that color. Now, Greg disagrees. Greg said that he's seen a bunch of copperheads, and it's definitely a copperhead. But I have had people saying that you're looking at a juvenile moccasin. Now, I will say this.
They get darker when they get a little older.
The style of the body does look more like a moccasin than a copperhead.
Because most of the time they don't get that fat.
Because it's fat and it's husky.
Yeah.
So I don't and since we tried to fix the water problem next to that house, but our neighbor would not agree to that. It gathers water there, and we see snakes in there a good bit.
Yeah.
And it would make more sense that was a moccasin versus a copperhead, since it's near that low place where the water gathers. But I don't know. A copperhead definitely has the same coloring, but and I know that a moccasin doesn't when it's an adult, but as a juvenile maybe.
Yeah.
But boy,
how about this? It has a triangle head, which means it's poisonous, and it must die, because I call him Satan's little hand
right.
puppet.
Yeah.
I mean, Think about this, guys. I mean, our God.
Oh boy,
who is
here we go.
all-knowing, all-just.
He's got new audience.
Took his legs away. Okay, so that's good enough for me. They all got to go.
Yeah, that's right. If God cursed the animal, why are we having anything to do with it?
That's right.
I love seeing the reaction of
for
somebody that hears that for the first time.
Well, how do you argue that? It's a
Right.
biblical fact.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
We don't have to worry about a giraffe, crawling around through our bushes.
Right.
A giraffe. You went there.
Well, but you don't
That's
have
so
to. You don't
good.
have to be Arminian or Calvinist to agree on that
No,
one.
you don't. Took his legs right away. Said, "Hey, crawl. Here you go."
Debbie in Alabama. Debbie, go ahead.
Yes, yesterday I was listening to the Alabama softball game that Beth Moen was calling.
I'm sorry.
And it was 0-0. And before she left for the commercial, she said, "Here we are with double bagel."
Double what?
Bagel. Double bagel, Rick. It's
Double
a term.
bagel.
It's a tennis term too. When they say you get bageled, you didn't score
Beth Moines,
anything.
University of Alabama. We'll end it with double bagel. Oh my God!
Right.
Double bagel.
You don't usually see that transition over into baseball, bagel.
No,
but I don't know about girls softball.
Well,
it's just a tennis term you hear all the time.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Don't get bageled.
Okay.
You got to win one. Rick, I've been down 5-0 many times, and the scream is, "Don't get bageled."
Bill Bubba Bussy's not going to get bageled today.
I'll eat the bagel.
Beth Moen saw it with her own eyes. And her, eyes. You ever know that? Eyes. Josh, welcome to Rick and Bubba. 30 seconds. Go ahead. I saw Bubba eat a bagel. Oh, we lost that one.
Oh, no.
So Victor, I want to ask you this. Just we only have a few minutes left. Do you remember the way your dad responded to a four-wheeler the first time he was on one? Did he talk to you about it?
I know he's always wants to go four-wheeling, but I have not heard the response.
I was there, and of course, I did not know John when you were born, and I was not there for John's wedding. But I can only assume that the face that I saw on the reaction.
You remember the picture we got?
Yes. He lit up like a light. And I thought, this must be the same way he looked at his children and his beautiful wife on their wedding day. This has got to be sitting in the number 3 spot. I mean, John,
4 now after grandkids.
Yeah, after grandkids. Yeah. Do you remember the feel of the power?
Absolutely. I mean, 60 miles an hour, try and push that thing to 70 miles an hour down the road, but it's got a governor on it.
There's only so much horsepower.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want it to fly.
Right.
Why not? There is nothing like it.
Oh, yeah. And now, of course.
Best day of the year.
Yeah. Now, you didn't do so well on trying to get through the creek. Do you remember that?
No, the mud, the water.
Yeah.
Can be a lot of that.
Not too good.
Yeah,
a lot of that today.
Yeah,
4-wheel, keep moving.
Yeah, it's better though. I've actually fixed that creek, so you'll be fine.
Did you harden the bottom up?
Yeah, we did. We put cement in the bottom.
That's good.
So that'll make it easier. We actually went through it
That's
yesterday.
the cheapest way to do it.
Yeah, and the fishing has been going outstanding, but today if it's maybe too wet for that, but. But
I'm not a good fisherman, no.
No, you
try and fisherman for Jesus, but
that's right. You're a fisher of men, and you did okay. I mean, you
Jesus
seemed a little
fished.
Yeah.
He did a little fishing. Of course, he just tell him to get in the net.
Right.
He knows where
he
the
never
fish
used
are.
a rattle trap.
Yeah.
Rick just throws in, and the next thing he's got something. I don't know. He's obviously got a part of the pool where he keeps his fish, and then puts you over there where there's none. You know?
Okay, it pays to live there and stay there. You end up knowing the pond pretty well.
He put you in the gar hole.
Yeah. Well, you did catch one day. And I just said, throw over here, John, and I think you'll be all right.
Yeah.
And he caught it. I wish I had that pocket fisherman.
Yeah. Well, we got it.
I know. But if I take it down there, you'll never have it up here to throw.
I gotta have something to do in the hall.
It'll go to the place of no return.
Yep.
So, Victor, you've been on a 4-wheeler?
One time before.
One time.
Yeah.
Today's only the second time.
It is. Yeah.
Oh, Victor.
First time with Rick. So.
I'll tell you one thing. I'm making dreams come true. It was we laugh every time we go on vacation. If we do an ATV deal, this has happened to me twice already, and they'll ask all the different families where they're from, and they show them how to do it and how to run it. And they come over to us and they say, "Where are you guys from?" We say, "Alabama." They say, "Just get on." No need to go over the details.
It's a way of life here.
Yeah. Is Gary going to guide them today?
Hey, I mean, if they need me to come over, I'll be there.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.
Hey, thanks for watching Rick and Bubba live on YouTube.
We're here live at 5 with a kickoff hour, bright and early, Monday through Friday.
Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell for notifications on our YouTube channel.
And catch a commercial-free Best of Hour on Blaze TV every day.
Rick and Bubba, it's must-see TV.
Or radio.
Well, yeah.
Rick and Bubba.